Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our non-Messianic Conversations channel. Uh, we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior and our Redeemer, our Lord of Hosts. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, Non-Messianic Conversations, and I think we have maybe 20 or 30 videos so far, maybe 50. You can check those videos out, get the meat out. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. We on every Tuesday night, 7 to 9. For any of your brothers out there that want to engage in this, the women can come in through you can come in through YouTube, but if you want to come in and on the platform, you have to call 337-802-0889, and we'll give you we'll be able to send you a link the way you can engage a little bit better. Okay, so this channel was created to aid and assist our Hebrews who are waking up to their true identity in these last days and understanding who their Savior and their Redeemer truly is. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our non-Messianic conversation. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, psalms. We have some current events, some need to know information. Then we open it up for anybody with any questions or comments, any dialogue or testimony. And then we'll go into our topic for discussion, which is Trump's deliberate plan to devalue America's currency. We're going to play that, and then we're going to get some feedback. And then our scripture reading will be, we'll be dealing with, okay, we'll be dealing with with a video, right? And it's, you have to tie your shoes up on this one, okay? It's, we're going to be dealing with the fact that, let me see how to put this. We're going to be dealing with the fact that, well, I go into it later. They don't know. They didn't know that Africa would find out, and what it is they found out where our Israel is located in, and there's a lot more information involved in this. So we'll deal with that when we get to it. Okay. Then we'll pick a scripture like we normally do, and then we'll break that scripture down, and then we'll close out. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God, and we make our confessions, oh Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee, and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, to all the countries whither thou hast driven us because of our trespass that we have trespassed against thee. Okay. O Lord, hear this prayer, because thy face is shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people for your sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline your ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do and defer not, for thy own sake, or for thy people in your land need you justly at this hour. Okay. Peace be unto you. With that being said, I'm gonna read the song right quick. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll read Psalm 3. It's a prayer for the confidence in God. It's a Psalm of David. when he fled from Absalom his son. Okay, Lord, how art thou increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. Selah, but thou, O Lord, art the shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of my head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. Selah, I laid me down and slept. I awakened, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000 of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord, and save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord. Thy blessings is upon thy people. Selah. So what I want to do on this right here is we keep seeing over and over and again how the angel of the Lord is showing up delivering Israel. So we see my example is when the Assyrian army came to Jerusalem, it was 185,000 men, and we know the angel of the Lord showed up, and he decimated the 185,000 Assyrians. So when you look at that, we're gonna look at verse 6. David is talking. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Then he says, arise, O Lord. So who is it that's arising? The Lord of hosts, his angel. So it says, arise, O Lord, save me, O my God. See that? O Lord. Say, arise, O Lord, save me, O my God. So when you understand this, who the God is, it's the angel of the Lord, Lord of hosts. Michael says, arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone, thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. So we know in this case right here was the Assyrians, but we know who did it. It wasn't Yahweh. But David goes out his way to tell you that whoever it is that smit these 185,000 men is his God. So we're going to get into that a little bit later on about the topic that I'll be dealing with, and it's going to kind of shine a light on this also. Okay, so with that being said, anybody got a comment on that? Okay, we're going to go to our current events. We'll play them like we normally do, and then we'll get some feedback. Okay.
Needed 60 votes to pass it. The government shutdown has now been resolved. The Senate voted on the government funding bill. They needed 60 votes to pass it. The vote was 60-40, enough to get it through the Senate. 52 Republicans voted in favor, and 8 Democrats voted in favor. So the bill is now advancing to the House of Representatives, and Speaker of the House Johnson has called back the House of Representatives to vote on the bill. The bill is expected to be voted on sometime this week, most likely tomorrow on Wednesday. And it is expected to pass because they just need a simple majority in the House of Representatives to get it through. Now, once the House of Representatives passes the government funding bill, then it's going to advance to President Trump. And President Trump has backed this bill. Therefore, once he receives it, he's going to sign it. And ultimately, the government shutdown has now been resolved. All right, now with that being said, what is in this government funding bill? Did the Republicans get what they wanted? Did the Democrats get what they wanted? So we're going to dive into this.
One example of building resilience in the supply chain.
There are 100 seats in the Senate. The Republicans control 53 of them. To pass a bill in the Senate, they need to get 60 votes. Therefore, even though the Republicans have the majority in the Senate, they still have to work with the Democrats to get the necessary 60 votes. And the Republicans and Democrats were clashing over the expiring Obamacare subsidies. They're going to expire on December 31st of this year. But to be fair, I mean, they were fighting over many things, but this was the biggest disagreement. This was their focus. Now, here's the agreements. The Senate Republicans promised the Democrats that they'll hold a vote on the Obamacare subsidies, whether to extend them or not. The deal was that they're going to take a vote on this by the second week of December. But I want to bring this to your attention. Just think about it. Yeah, the agreement is that they're going to vote on this, but is it going to pass? Well, they're saying that the votes on extending the Obamacare subsidies that they're going to do, it is expected to fail in the Senate. And that's why the Democratic Party, especially the leaders of the Democrats in the House and the Senate, are very upset with the 8 Democratic senators that voted with the Republicans to reopen the government. Now, I want to tell you this, and this is the crazy part where you're probably going to just want to shake your head in disgust. So you have to realize that this bill is just a temporary government funding bill that's going to keep the government funded until the end of January, so January 30th of next year. So that's about 2.5 months away, right? Now, I want you to think about that. They're going to vote on the extension of the Obamacare subsidies sometime in December, right? And that is expected to fail. So what do you think is going to happen? The Democrats are going to be pissed. And then what do you think is going to happen when January 30th rolls around? The Republicans and Democrats are going to be butting heads again. And then there's the real possibility of another government shutdown just 2.5 months from now. And then we got to go through all this drama again. Now, can we please have an honest conversation here? So the government shutdown affected 42 million Americans on SNAP benefits, right? But this is the part of me being honest. The biggest priority or the biggest concern for the politicians, it wasn't the SNAP benefits. It was the flight delays and cancellations. Like, I'm sorry, but that is the truth. And with Thanksgiving travel right around the corner, and then you have December holiday season, the politicians didn't want to deal with that backlash. That was their biggest fear. That was the primary motivator to reopen the governments. Now, I just want you to think about that, because if they go through another government shutdown starting on January 30th, then it's not going to be during peak travel season. And then, well, if they don't have the motivator, then it could end up being worse than this one. And that's what's running through my head right now. And I just want you to know that this was the longest government shutdown for the United States of America. This surpassed the previous record of 35 days, which was actually during President Trump's first term at the end of 2018. Okay, right now it's still not resolved until President Trump signs it. So we're going on day 43. And I just want to mention this to clarify. So I did make the bets that this fiasco would end by 60 days, which is looking pretty solid right now, to be honest. So yes, I did mention the 40 days, but I backed out of that immediately when I saw the 60-day opportunity. So I'm very happy I did. And anyone on my Patreon can vouch for me, so I'm good. But thank you for your concern. Now, let's move on to this. When are SNAP recipients going to be made whole again for the recipients that got shortchanged in November? The answer is that it's all going to depend on your state, because it is administered at the state level. Like, I wish I could be more specific, but that's the official answer. So here's another question. When are federal employees going to receive their back pay? 1.4 million federal employees missed their full paycheck in late October, and many received a partial paycheck for the previous pay period, so the paycheck before that. Okay, so by law, the federal government must issue back pay as soon as possible after the shutdown ends. So the rule is that they're not supposed to wait around and then add that back pay to your next paycheck. No, that's not how it works. By law, you're supposed to pay it out as soon as possible. Now, regarding the Federal Reserve, I mean, you've heard this before. They said that they're going to make their decisions about interest rates based on the data, the jobs reports, and the inflation report, like that data. Okay, so the jobs report didn't come out in October because of the government shutdown. And then the Federal Reserve, they made the decision on October 29th without that data. So much for them being data dependent. So the jobs report didn't come out in November either. It's supposed to be out the first Friday of each month. Now, when the government reopens, they're saying that the government can produce the jobs report within a few days. And the inflation report, I mean, that was supposed to be released this week, but It is expected to be delayed. However, the Federal Reserve is going to have their meeting on December 10th, so there's going to be some time. Now, if you remember this, like this is something I said about just under 2 months ago. I gave you the stats about how a government shutdown affects the stock markets. Government shutdowns have minimal impact on the stock market, and this time was no exception. So there was no market scare. And as you witnessed, the news of the reopening of the government actually boosted stocks. So the stock, for the stock market, you saw for yourself, it was a nothing burger. And I'm just saying this because if there's another threat of a government shutdown at the end of January, then, well, at least if you go according to the stats, you can expect the same thing, minimal impact. So don't let another possible shutdown scare, rattle you out as an investor.
Okay, any feedback on that? Anybody got anything on that? What you think?
Well, they said that Trump don't want anything but Barack Obama healthcare. Let's name it anything else other than that. That's what he was saying. He don't like that. It's Barack Obama healthcare. Like all the other people that came with the healthcare with their name on it, he don't want his name on it. That's the problem.
Okay,
From what I understand.
okay. Anybody else?
Shalom, brother Leonard. Shalom, brother Kels. I think I definitely since the dude in the video, he doesn't know the things we do, like being the Hebrew and prophecy and things. So I think he's wrong about when he says like the shutdowns won't affect things like 401ks and IRAs and things like that.
Exactly.
In the video that you played recently, brother Leonard, it was one of those videos like that was about the pattern of when empires crumble. And then in one of those videos, I went and had watched it all. I forgot the title of it now, but I went and watched it all. And the guy in the video explained just that it does threaten the 401ks and the IRAs anytime the market crashes and people's pensions and things like that, because they're investing that money into the stock market. And then with people trying to pull their money out because of the panic, basically. So all of that does affect everything. And he says don't be scared to invest, but you'll just be throwing your money away eventually, even if it's not the next shutdown.
Exactly, AJ. And that's why you have to have tangibles, something that you can put your hands on, not something that's in the markets and stuff like that, because we watching the markets crash. You have to have tangibles, and I say that all the time. Whether people listen to it or not, you have to have tangible, something that you can put your hands on, that you be able to eat, like cows and chickens. Those are tangible things that you be able to transfer to other people to eat off of it. That's just the way I see it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, we go to the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to History and Legacy Africa. Russia has responded to France's threats to Niger. This is an update from this week, where France threatened to invade Niger over a 1,000 metric ton stockpile of uranium inside the Arlit site in Niger. Let me quickly brief you on why France is threatening to strike Niger by end of this week, and I will follow up with Russia's dangerous response to France over Niger. Let's get into it. France is preparing to invade Niger this week. As we speak, the French military is mobilizing to invade Niger because Colonel Abdulrahman Chiani and his government have decided to sell 1,000 metric tons of uranium from the Arlit site to Russia. France, the nation that plundered Niger's wealth for over 60 years, is now screaming that the uranium belongs to them. They have given the government of Niger this week to end all negotiations with Russia, or they will execute a forceful invasion. France believes those resources belong to them, and Niger has no right to sell them. When Colonel Tiani took power in 2023, he swore to put an end to the theft that had cursed Niger for decades.
Injured by a big truck? Before you hire a big truck.
Uranium, the very fuel that lights up French homes and powers French industries, had been bleeding out of Niger for almost free. Orano, a French mining company, took it by the ton, sold it to Paris at prices that insulted the people of Niger and left behind poverty, dust, and empty promises. But Tiani said, no more. If the contract does not serve my people, it is finished. And so, Colonel Chiani immediately expelled the French company Orano and canceled all contracts the state has with them. Before Orano left, the company had thousands of metric tons of uranium on the site. Nigerian authorities insist the stockpile they left behind has been taken over by the state as compensation for the decades of massive criminal plunder, and now the government is negotiating to sell 1,000 metric tons of that stockpile to Russia. France could not accept this, so France took the case to court, the World Bank Court. The World Bank Court ruled against Niger. They declared that Orano's rights are still valid. The court has banned Niger from entering the Arlite site, barred them from touching the uranium, and barred them from selling even a gram from the pit. But Niger immediately rejected the court ruling and resisted Orano's return. The Nigerian army still remained deployed around the Arlit site, protecting the uranium of retribution. The government is negotiating with Russia to sell 1,000 metric tons of the stockpile Orano left behind to Russia. Russia is paying a market price for the 1,000 metric tons of uranium, dependent on the cheap uranium flowing from Niger's soil. For years, France paid crumbs, prices that insulted a nation, and in return, lit up Paris, Lyon, and Marseille, while Niamey stayed in darkness. When Tiani shut the door, France's lights began to flicker. Nuclear plants slowed, electricity bills rose, industries began to stagger. French companies complained, jobs were lost, and protests filled the streets. And the people began to ask their leaders, how did you let this happen? How did you lose Africa? But it was not only electricity. Uranium was just one vein. Gold, bauxite, cotton, oil, all were lifelines that France pulled from its ex-colonies. And now, one by one, those lifelines are being cut by the Sahel lions, Traoré in Burkina Faso, Goita in Mali, and Tiani in Niger. France is choking, and it knows it. This is why France is desperate. Its debt has crossed 3 trillion euros. Its economy is shrinking, its companies are collapsing, and its people are angry, filling the streets with protests that shake Paris to its core. Macron sees this, and he knows the truth. Without Africa, France will fall. Electricity, not just to Niger, but eventually to all of Sahel. This is why France cannot sleep, because once these factories are built, the Sahel will no longer beg for weapons. They will produce without restriction. They will fight terrorists with full strength. They will defend their sovereignty with weapons made by their own hands, not controlled by Paris or Washington. And Russia? Moscow sees the Sahel as a strategic partner. Putin has pledged transparency, promising that Russia will not exploit like France, but cooperate. Whether that promise holds true, only time will tell. But today, in the eyes of the Sahel people, Russia is not the enemy. Russia is the partner that came when Africa called, while France came only to steal.
Okay. Any comments on that? What do you think?
They told us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Well, they got to get their bootstraps on, right?
Yeah,
you got to pull yourself up. Yes, sir. They told us that. All praise.
Is that so? Okay. Got some need to know information right here. I'm always talking about this. That's the reason I'm playing this video, so I'm gonna play it and then get some feedback.
You were told your
history
began with chains, that your story is one of oppression, a narrative written by your captors, a saga of suffering that defines your very existence. But what if that was the greatest lie ever told? What if the chains were not the beginning of your story, but an interruption of a story so powerful, so divine, that the world had to conspire to make you forget it? The evidence of this power is not just in history books. It is written in your blood, encoded in your cells, a hidden testament to a strength that defies explanation. You are about to discover a truth that has been intentionally buried, a truth about a divine endowment placed within your very DNA. After you hear this, you will never see your reflection the same way again. You will no longer look at your hands, your skin, or your hair as mere biology, but as living artifacts of an impossible miracle. Your survival was not an accident. It was by design. The question you have to ask yourself, the one that changes everything, is this: if your survival was engineered at a genetic level, what else were you designed to do? What does it take to survive the unsurvivable? Consider the Middle Passage, a journey so horrific that it is medically and psychologically incomprehensible. You are talking about months in the belly of a wooden beast, chained in filth, surrounded by death, disease, and despair. By all logical accounts, the mortality rate should have been 100%. The combination of nutrient deprivation, extreme psychological trauma, and rampant infectious diseases like dysentery, scurvy, and smallpox created a perfect storm for extinction. Yet millions survived. This isn't just a testament to a strong will, it's a biological anomaly. It points to a physical and spiritual resilience that science is only now beginning to catch up with. The programming you carry had to be more powerful than the horror it was subjected to. Your lineage is the result of those who passed through the fire and did not burn. Their story is not one of victimhood. It is the story of a hidden power activating under impossible pressure. Look at the institution of slavery itself. For centuries, a system was designed not just for labor extraction, but for the complete annihilation of the human spirit. Families were systematically destroyed. Names were stolen. Languages were forbidden. Your ancestors were legally classified as property, subjected to brutal labor from sunup to sundown, and lived under the constant threat of torture and death. The psychological warfare was relentless, designed to instill a permanent sense of inferiority and hopelessness. The system was engineered to break you from the inside out, to erase any memory of royalty, of humanity, of divinity. But it failed. It failed because you cannot erase what is encoded at a cellular level. You cannot legislate away a divine imprint. The songs that rose from the fields were not just cries of sorrow. They were activations of a spiritual technology, a frequency of hope that the whip could not silence. The resilience was not just mental, it was biological. Think about the diet during that time. Your ancestors were given the scraps, the leftovers, the parts of the animal and plant that the master class deemed unfit for consumption. Yet from these scraps, they created a cuisine, soul food, so rich and ingenious that it sustained a people. This is a form of alchemy. It's the ability to turn poison into medicine, to find life in the discarded. This demonstrates an adaptive genius that is coded into your biology. Your body learned to extract maximum nutrition from minimal resources. It learned to survive on what was meant to kill it. This biological intelligence, this ability to thrive in hostile environments, is not a footnote in your history. It is a central feature of the divine power placed within you. It is a testament to a body and a spirit that are designed to find a way, to make a way, even when there appears to be no way at all.
Say the man whom we formed. Okay.
And they saying that in these last days, I remember reading in the scriptures that you're going to eat your own children. I mean, they have a problem with beef and all this other stuff. I can't get it past. What was his name? It was that Jewish rabbi name, Finkelstein or whatever, saying that we're going to eat your children. There's going to be matzo balls and Burger King and McDonald's. You remember that, Mr. Leonard?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is what's going on now. People don't understand it. All these people coming up missing. Don't think I'm just being honest. People are getting eaten. They are putting this in because it's not enough oxtails. It's not enough food to go along with all these people. The farmers. Donald Trump said that he $40 billion to what's that country?
Venezuela.
Is it Venezuela? Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That he spent all that money on talking about we're gonna get our cows from there and all. We have all this farmland. But even with all this farmland, because they got rid of it because the IBM what's that guy name? He was another one that was dealing with that. Bill Gates.
Okay.
Got all the farmland and Monsanto's and everything, the plants and everything. He's getting all this land. It's not enough cows to go along for everybody to eat. So what are we eating? That's that. I mean, think about that.
Right. Okay.
Turning sorrow into strength. Let's discuss the concept of divine timing. Why is this knowledge coming to the forefront now? For centuries, this truth has been hidden, whispered in secret, passed down through families. But now it is exploding into the collective consciousness. This is because the time is right. You have endured the forging. You have survived the fire. You are now being prepared for the purpose for which you were created. The world is in a state of crisis. The old systems are crumbling. Humanity is desperately in need of a new way forward. You have been prepared in the crucible of your suffering to be the leaders, the healers, and the way showers for this new era. This is not a burden. It is your glorious destiny. This is the moment your ancestors prayed for. Mid-video CTA 2. You are now deep into this truth and you can feel its resonance in your spirit.
Divorce.
Okay.
Man, it's
We're
Patterns
watching it,
aren't just
Mr. Leonard.
historical, they are personal.
What's that?
We're watching it.
Oh yeah.
What they saying is everything that they saying, we are watching it right now. We're in these last days.
Right.
And all praise
You
the
can
Most
see them in
High, because we can see. I mean, I don't know how many anybody have had ground beef and had a hamburger or whatever, and they chewed on that hamburger and it was like a bone in there or something. You know, when you eat that burger, I don't know if it may be just me, but it's like a bone or something in there that you crunch on while you eating it. So that kind of made me think about they feeding it because it said that we was gonna eat our own children, correct? If that's in the scriptures,
Right.
okay. That's what I wanted to say because honestly, we already know, and there's nothing we can do about it. We are cattle, you know, amongst the sheep. I mean, these people are running everything. Edom's running everything we do. They said that what Bill Gates said that y'all don't have to get the COVID. We're gonna put it in your fruits and your vegetables and your collard greens and everything else, correct?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got anything on that, AJ?
It kind of reminds me of what Brother Kez was just saying. I mean, kind of remind me of like Pizzagate, you know, because in the sense of we know that's what they do behind the scenes, you know, the cannibalism stuff. But to some of the conditions that the guy was talking about in the video that we're under, that's what kind of led me to this point to the class because I'm like, how could we go through all this and still be standing? And
Right.
you know, so uh, I realized somebody was preserving us. Like I didn't know who, but that could be the only answer, that somebody's preserving us on purpose, because any other people group that's been through what we've been through has been wiped out, but are not standing as strong.
Exactly. And that's the thing I'm saying. We know what they doing, and they trying to get rid of us. They want us to eat our own children. They want us to defile the Sabbath. They want us to do all this. They trying so hard to go against the grain. You know, that's why we got to keep doing what we're doing, the Shabbat and everything else, and try to do the best that we can, because they are dumping in our face in these last days. And Trump, they running it wild. America's broke. They want to say that, oh, we can't afford welfare. We can't afford EBT. We can't afford this. We watching the declining of our economy and our people suffering for it, which you have to suffer because we're coming out of this. It's the truth.
Okay. Here we go. So with that being said, we're gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions about anything they came across? Any comments? Any dialogue? Testimony about something they heard on these lines?
I was binge watching King David, and it's good. I was binge watching it today.
Okay.
And I watched that video you told me, but I was seeing some things with King David, how he smoked that giant, you know, and it's definitely an eye opener if people want to really watch that. That was a good movie, and I'm still binge watching it, but that's a good movie too. And then the way we watching the government shut down and it opened up, and we was talking about that, how they about to it's really about to get ugly for us as people, and we got to stand together. We got to stand together to get our the mindset together. It is all about the Most High. As long as you're dealing with the Most High, you're gonna be all right. If you're not dealing with him, then you done. That's all I want to say.
Okay. You got anything, AJ? Any questions, comments, or?
Shalom. I had something too about the House of David series, Brother Leonard. I have been searching for the girl that I think her name, they call her Dinah. But so the one that Jonathan's brother married, I haven't found her in the scriptures.
Okay.
And so I know you were saying, you know, they got information we don't got and things like that. But I'm like, I don't see anything where, you know, where he had a wife necessarily. And definitely I haven't found that her name was Dinah or whatever. But there was a few things that happened in the last few episodes that I didn't see in the scriptures either.
Right.
And even the episode before this most recent one, and it's kind of a spoiler alert, Brother Kells, but the one before this last one, Brother Leonard, when Saul kicked his wife out, the kingdom, his kingdom, I also didn't necessarily find that either.
Right. Yeah, it don't even have Jonathan's wife in there.
Yeah, and
right.
Yep. And I was gonna say the same thing with Saul. When I was watching how Saul was acting and the way his wives was, it's same thing. I agree, because I'm watching them. It just don't add up. But this is them. It's not us, you know.
Exactly right. They you know, they adding stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? Filling in the blank for their own self to make the movie more presentable, and then to try to make it look like it's those people that's over there right now. Like for instance, the way they got David looking, got him looking like, you know, he even got his ways and gestures like those people over there in Israel right now. So they're trying to make it look like it's the people that's over there now. The people that's in the movie is the people that's in Israel right now, descendants from the people that's in the movie. So they're trying to, so they coming in and filling in the blanks with their own information. Because like I said, I don't see Jonathan is mentioned that Jonathan had a wife, and the dude Ishbal don't mention that he had a wife, and then even the way everything playing out with the woman that David is marrying, they make it look like it was some kind of big old physical attraction between the two of them. From my understanding, Saul the one made the decision to give that Michelle to David. David wasn't like flipping out on her. He ended up Saul made the decision and gave Michelle to him after he had David went and killed those got those 100 foreskins from the Philistines, and then that's how he received Michelle. But it wasn't that he was, I don't see it in the scriptures where he was all madly in love, flipped out on the way they're showing it on there. Like I said, it's to me, it's more like, the way people is over there in Israel today, and they got that Christian nationalist type of bullshit in there tied to it.
That's true too.
White love.
Yeah, that's true too. Because of how Solomon was he was sick, and then he woke up, and then now he's telling his son certain things. I mean, I didn't see those things in the scriptures,
Right.
So that's why, I like watching movies like that, but it's just when it comes to the Gentiles, it kind of turned me off. That's why I don't really get on these movies like that, because I can't get past the Gentiles doing it. If it was us doing it, or getting a proper understanding, we not getting that. That's why I don't like about watching it, because it bothers me, because when I watch it, it's not coinciding with these scriptures.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. I feel like I know they're doing that on purpose. On top of, I know some information will probably come out later, right? But it just like with the scriptures, like how you say, Brother Leonard, like they scattered our script. We were scattered. They scattered our scriptures. So I'm sure some of this stuff that they putting in there could possibly be true, and we just don't have the information yet. Not saying all of it, because I'm sure some of it is made up, like you said, to make the show more presentable to the masses. But I'm sure some of these things are in some of the lost books that we don't have available yet. That will probably make more sense later. But I do see them always. They do keep putting things in there that are like Gentile customs, like in the most recent episode before David and Michelle got married, when they went in that water, Brother Leonard. You remember that?
That was Egyptian.
Right. Yeah, they went in the water and hit themselves 3 times. Like what?
Right. Yeah, that ain't that's not Hebrew, maybe it's tied to when the time of the Maccabees and when the Edomites is in the land, but I don't see that having nothing to do with us as Hebrew Israelites. It don't add up to me.
Yeah, and then ain't no brothers in it. I mean, I haven't seen the brother in there yet. The wars and everything else.
Or a sister.
Yeah, or a sister. That's what I'm saying. I that's what deters me. I like understanding the David concept, but I just don't like watching certain things. It bothers me when I can't even see myself in it, even though I know it to be um, us, but they want to play it with everybody else but us. You know, I don't like that. That's what bothers me about it. You know, Arabs and Gentiles, all Gentiles alike. I just can't really get into it. I get it, but I can't get into it.
Right. Okay. So everybody good on that? So I'm gonna play my topic for discussion. This is Trump is saying that Trump got a deliberate plan to devalue the American currency. So let's look at that, see what's going on with it.
Every investor wants a
dollar has fallen more than 10% in 2025, approximately 10.8% in the first half of this year. That is the worst start to a year for the dollar since 1973. But here's what nobody is talking about. This isn't an accident. This is a plan. Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, and his chief economic advisor, Stephen Miran, have been openly discussing a strategy to deliberately weaken the dollar to bring back manufacturing. They're calling it the Mar-a-Lago Accord, a modern version of the 1985 Plaza Accord that successfully drove down the dollar by 40%. So let's get this straight. Your government is actually working to make your dollar worth less. And they're telling you it's for your own good. Today, we're going to break down exactly what they're planning, whether it's actually worked, who's tried it before, and most importantly, what it actually means for you in your daily life. My name is Elizabeth Ann Stewart, and you are watching Geopolitics and Money. Follow the money, decode the world. Let's start with what Trump's own team is saying, because they're not exactly being subtle about this. Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary and former hedge fund manager who famously worked with George Soros, by the way, wrote in January 2024, weakening the dollar early in his second administration would make U.S. manufacturing competitive. A weak dollar and plentiful, cheap energy could power a boom. A strong dollar should emerge by the end of his term if the U.S. reshoring effort is successful. Okay, read that again. Weakening the dollar early is the stated goal, but Bessent walks a tightrope. In public testimony, when directly asked about the administration's dollar policy, he stated, "No one should listen to anyone in the markets talk about the US dollar other than President Trump or myself. We have a strong dollar policy." Note the careful phrasing. He says they have a strong dollar policy, not that they want a strong dollar right now. Very clever right there. The real blueprint comes from Stephen Miran, Trump's choice for chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. In November of 2024, Miran published a paper titled A User's Guide to Restructuring the Global Trading System. In it, he argues that the root of the economic imbalances lies in the persistent dollar overvaluation that prevents the balancing of international trade. He explicitly states, while many analysts believe there are no tools available to unilaterally address the current misvaluation, that is not true. Miran proposed the Mar-a-Lago Accord, a coordinated plan to deliberately devalue the dollar. The strategy? Use tariffs as leverage to force trading partners like Europe, China, and Japan to accept a weaker dollar. Countries that don't cooperate face punitive tariffs. Countries that do cooperate get tariff relief. It's currency manipulation with a smile and a threat. This isn't a new idea. They're literally copying a playbook from 1985. Back then, the US dollar was massively overvalued. The Federal Reserve under Paul Volcker had jacked up interest rates to kill inflation in the early 1980s, which made the dollar surge. From 1980 to 1985, the dollar had appreciated by about 50% against major currencies like the Japanese yen and the German Deutschmark. The result? American manufacturers couldn't compete. The US developed large trade deficits, reaching 3.4% of GDP. The country lost 2 million manufacturing jobs between 1980 and 1985. Sound familiar? So on September 22nd of 1985, finance ministers from the G5, the US, Japan, Germany, France, and the UK, met at the Plaza Hotel in New York and reached an agreement. They would coordinate intervention in currency markets to deliberately drive down the dollar. And it worked. In the 2 years, 1985 to 1987, the dollar fell 40%. The US trade deficit improved substantially. And by 1991, the US current account balance had moved close to a surplus. Success, right? Well, sort of. For Japan, the Plaza Accord became a cautionary tale. The yen appreciated dramatically from 242 per dollar in September of 1985 to 153 in 1986, just a year later, and around 120 by 1988. To counteract this massive currency appreciation, the Bank of Japan engaged in aggressive monetary stimulus, slashing interest rates and flooding the economy with money. This led directly to Japan's massive asset price bubble of the late 1980s. Dollar, you undermine the very reason people hold it. As one analyst put it, trying to force countries to keep using your currency you're actively devaluing makes the use of the dollar appear to be a favor to the US instead of something logical, which could actually accelerate de-dollarization. Third, manufacturing takes years to build. Even if a weaker dollar makes American exports more competitive tomorrow, you can't just conjure up factories overnight. The US has spent decades hollowing out its manufacturing base. Supply chains have moved, expertise has been lost, infrastructure has unfortunately deteriorated. Trump has announced flashy investment projects, but analysts note that many of these endeavors are months or even years from coming on the line. In the meantime, Americans will just pay more for imports without seeing the manufacturing jobs materialize, if they rematerialize at all due to artificial intelligence, AI. And
okay, so like I say, listening to that, you can see it's a slow demo job on to bring the American economy down, to bring the dollar down. It's like the video says, it's Trump has a plan, which we know it ain't none of his plan. It's these Edomites, powers that be, have a plan to deliberately devalue the American dollar and bring the American down. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that?
Yeah, the yuan is taking over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you can't buy the petrodollar is gone. Saudi Arabia just said the petrodollar is gone. We're not using the dollar for gold. I mean, for oil or fuel no more. So it's over. America's broke.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it's all intentional. That's the crazy part about it. It's like right now with the way everything going right now. Why would you got all these politicians and Republicans and Democrats? Why would you shut the government down? If your job is about the American people, Why? How can all y'all get together and end up shutting the government down? That's what's crazy to me.
And the thing about it is, the Republicans hold all the cards. They got the judges, the lawyers, they got everything. So how did the government shut down?
Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
It can't shut down if you running everything. If I ran everything, nothing gonna be shut down on my watch if I'm running everything.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? You got anything, AJ?
Well, Shalom, I agree with what both of y'all just said, because you're right. If I was running the company, a business, period, I would want my business to keep flowing with money. The only how I would shut it down is if I had a plan to do it on purpose, like the video just said. And then, Brother Leonard, it reminds me of that the movie Civil War again, because I was looking at it again, and when they was at the gas station, there was the scene on there. They went to this gas station, and they only needed a half a tank of gas, and she offered the guy $300, and he was like, nah, $300 will just get you, like some deli sandwiches. But she was like, no, I'll give you Canadian money. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, we good then. So even at that point, like in the movie, it's kind of like a little sign to what the lady was saying in the video, how the dollar's going down, how they're taking it away.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And then the part that I didn't really focus on the first time I watched it was that it's a major attack. We've been noticing, especially when Trump, even his first term, and especially this term right here, how they have no regard for the press.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
That's even at the end, the way it went off. That's where it's headed to. We see it going on now, but it hasn't got to the point the way it was at the end of the movie. That's where it's headed.
Right. Total chaos.
Total chaos. And like I say, that's as far as they're concerned, the way the global society is, it's like a nurse, a doctor, or a medic, or a press person. To kill one of them, you got to, you barbaric. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
And then he's saying that he wants to sue the news media or whoever if they don't apologize to him. So we dealing with a narcissistic person to where it's all about them. And they got the right guy in it at the right time.
Right. And and all of the whole mega movement got a disdain for the newscasters and the press. Even the nutbucket, the girl Levitt, she's supposed to be his press secretary, but she got a serious issue with the press too. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I stumbled up on some. This here, I mean, you might as well tie your shoes up, because I was, oh man, I got blown out the water. I wasn't surprised because of the things that have been transpiring the last week or so. So when I came across this, I was like, wow, it's crazy, man. So y'all tie your shoes up, man. I'm gonna play the video. I'm probably gonna be, when I get to certain points in it, I'm gonna be stopping it, but it's crazy, man. Check it out. This is crazy. They got a whole bunch of research got to be done on this one, and a couple books got to be bought. Check it out, man. This is crazy. Man, so it's actually I'll give you the information later, but what it is it's a series, and they didn't know Africans would find this out. So we play. This was the part I picked out because the information that was in it. But check it out. Okay, let me get it. Triple.
Faith, truth, and the questions shaping today's Christian conversation. Today we're welcoming back a familiar face, Mr. Kunle, for his third appearance on the show. If you've been watching our previous episodes, you'll remember that Minister Kunle has shared some unique and thought-provoking perspectives.
Unique and thought-provoking perspective. They almost got a channel shut down.
On the scripture. As always, this conversation is about exploration and not endorsement. Our goal is to listen, learn, and challenge ideas thoughtfully while keeping Christ at the center of everything. So let's welcome back.
They Christians. We ain't gonna worry about that. They Christians, but we ain't gonna worry that. That's where we end up. We sitting on top of the hill. But check it out, man.
Mr. Kunle to the podcast. Welcome, Kunle. So, Minister Kunle, it's great to have you here again for the third time.
Yes, the third time.
The other times you were here, you shared some very interesting perspectives on scripture, which some of our viewers said illuminated, the word of God for them and helped answer questions that they had in their hearts that many people were not able to answer.
Yeah.
And sometimes those questions may even drive us away from the faith because we're so confused and we don't get answers. And then some of the other things he said got us almost banned on TikTok.
Okay.
So I just have to ask, do you still hold those same views? Let me just recap some of the things you said. You mentioned that Africans are the true Israelites of the Bible.
Yes.
You mentioned the earth was flat.
Yes.
You mentioned that most of these magnificent buildings we see today
Yes.
are remnants of the millennial reign.
Yes.
And you mentioned the rapture had already happened.
Yes. Yes.
Are these things you still believe, or has your view changed over time?
Yes. They're still the same views that we have. And the reason is because most of the sources we relied on to make those decisions or to have those views are basically still the same.
Okay.
They've not changed. And like we usually say, some of these things we say can be wrong, but what it would take to make them right is to take the sources where we got them from and check if those are accurate, of which most of them are scriptures, you see. So for them to be wrong, then those sources have to be wrong. And if we discover that those things are wrong, then we would, of course, definitely change the views. It's just them.
And is there anything that you've learned over time since the last time we saw you?
Yes, there's a few things. And for example, on the flat earth, I just remembered something which I didn't mention before. Because normally I would just refer people to go check all the channels and people that talk about the shape of the earth. But I remember that two things that I've literally seen by myself, and some people might have seen it also, that the sun would normally shine at an angle, and if you know geometrics, you can literally see the light of the sun shining at an angle when it's within the clouds. So if it is that far away, it wouldn't have that angle. And also, the times when you would see the clouds behind the sun, and science will tell you that the sun is 93 million miles away, which should be outside of the Earth's atmosphere. Okay. And within that range of distance, you shouldn't have any clouds around the sun. So if you could see clouds behind the sun, then it tells you that the sun is not as far away as.
Are you sure these things you saw were not AI? That they're actually static video?
No, it's not even a video. I mean, things I see with my own eyes.
Oh.
You see.
Okay.
So, but then if you record it and you send that online, then it just breaks the, credibility in the minds of people, you see, because people are like, oh, that could be AI, or that could be refraction, that could be, of which you understand some of these terms, but people just, it's almost a religion altogether. People.
I know after the last time we had that conversation, I went online also, and I saw like even some pilots were saying that they don't think the earth is round. Which was crazy for me because I was like, wow, they're the ones seeing the earth, they're the ones in the sky all the time, and they don't think it's round.
Yeah,
so something must be wrong there.
Yeah, it is. So, and there are many trips. For example, there's this trip, I think, if I'm not wrong, from Argentina to New Zealand, and then it goes through a complete detour, like going up all the way to North America and stops over somewhere else before it goes to New Zealand. And it doesn't make sense. I mean, for some of those journeys, just 2 of the stops is long enough to make the straight line journey. So it doesn't even make sense that you're going there to get fuel, because why waste the fuel to go for a fuel?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, but then when you put that on a flat Earth map, which is what the United Nations uses, by the way, that is on their logo, for example, you see that those 4 stops, or rather 2 stops, right? One from Argentina to that country or to that state, to that place, and then to New Zealand, it makes a straight line, which makes perfect sense. And that's the kind of thing that the pilots must have seen that makes them say, hey, this thing is flat, we just go straight. And towards the straight line journey, we're not
going back
in place. Yeah.
Wow. And I really need to ask you, why are you doing this?
Okay.
I mean, like, you spent 7 years of your life researching. Like, what's the point of it? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, we mentioned that before. It's the real thing that started it was concerning that Africa is the way Africa is. Because I've seen Africans do wonderful things when they move out of Africa and sometimes within Africa. So the question just came to my mind, and like any well-meaning African would also want to ask that, why is Africa this way? Why are things backward? What is in our history? And what mainstream tells us is that the history starts from slave trade, that we were literally just existing before they came.
Yeah, we didn't have any proper healthcare, we didn't have any education, we didn't have any.
So
and just jumping from trees.
Exactly. And so, and then they end the history with civil rights movement in the United States. But then what I tell people is that to understand Africa's previous history from the slave trade, all they need to do is just take scriptures, that's all. So that this thing that mainstream tells you is just history without the people and the land, aka the Bible, is the history of the people and land that they have told you have no history. You see, so there's history and land, rather there is people and land on this side, which is Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, because you would find the history of Egypt, you see, not on the side. So there's a people and land that have got a history, right? They've got no history rather, and then there's a history that the people and land we've got are not fitting. And you discover it's just one and the same, two sides of the same coin.
So does it actually change anything?
Okay.
If what you're saying is true, that people of the Bible are Black, African, what does it change?
It changes everything, really.
How?
Yeah, because to understand the magnitude of the importance of it is to understand how important the land called East Israel is. Right? You see that it's that land in the Levant, right, in the Middle East, that controls America, right? In fact, I'm sure probably you've seen this popular photo. It's like 4 grid of 4 that shows the Prime Minister of East Israel, right? And they just tell you he's the last 4 presidents of America, and they alter the face of the president to look like probably with AI, So more or less, what they're trying to say is that he's the one, or that region of the world that's been controlling America, and then America is just doing all over the things that they're doing around the world.
But don't you think, like many Christians, like me, we've been told that we're supposed to support Israel as Christians. So don't you think these things that you're sharing are changing the hearts of Christians and changing what we're supposed to be doing, which is to support Israel, no matter what they do?
Exactly. You should be supporting Israel. Israel is yourself. So support yourself no matter what you do. So you see how it changes it.
Yeah.
So people keep praying. And if the Middle East is not real, or Israel was just neutral, it would have been good enough for you to change your opinion. But those people, they literally hate your gods. Why? Because you are living, walking evidence that they are liars and imposters, you see. And an average Israelite that was born in Israel, I call them sincere imposters. Because you and I were born maybe Nigerian, Cameroonian, of which Cameroon doesn't mean anything, it just means river of streams. Nigeria just means black area, you see, the Portuguese word for black. So we're just born like that. I'm a Nigerian, but it doesn't mean anything. That's the northern kingdom of Israel right there, the real one. So I think it's quite important.
And lately I've been seeing so many things online which have just been hurting my heart, seeing things that are being done in Palestine and just not knowing how to feel about it as a Christian, but all the babies dying, the people being blown up, and that's why it keeps making me think, okay, am I supposed to just support Israel with everything that they're doing?
Exactly. So it makes it, and then because of the religion, they feel that moral obligation, right, to support them. Like, well, they're God's people.
Pray for them.
Yeah, pray for them. Maybe they're confused. They're not confused. They know what they're doing. So, and then, I was just checking recently, about 10 to 15 million people were unalived, were killed in the Congo, not in the Middle East, in Congo. And that was around 1885 when it did the Scramble for Africa. Right, I don't know if you remember that Berlin conference. So between then and 1908, thereabout, which is less than 30 years, thereabout, right? They unalived up to 10 to 15 million Congolese. Those are the real tribes of Judah, right? The real people in the land of God, you see. And we don't hear this, but we keep hearing 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews. And for those who are researching the 6 million Jews narrative, that's God, that is probably not true.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, we're going somewhere. It's going to get ugly in a minute.
Too. Some people say that it couldn't be possible for them to have 6 million Jews that are killed and still have Jews left.
Yes. And by the way, to help you understand how important this is, some of these phrases we're making are literally like red flags on TikTok already.
Yeah.
That's how important it is. That's how much they want to guard that, you see, because it's very key. And I tell people, it appears that the core conspiracy there is in the world today is the fact that the real Hebrews are Africans. That's the core. Every other conspiracy, not theories, actual conspiracies that you know in the world today are working around that singular conspiracy. So that if you get that one conspiracy, then you understand that like every other conspiracy and how it works. It's almost like what Jesus said, that when you understand the gospel of the kingdom, right, then you understand every other parable that he has spoken. It's just kind of like a way that if you understand that, wow, so this Middle East guy, right, and this whole thing, the real people are the sub-Saharan African people. They're the ones who are at the bottom of the barrel in almost throughout the world, right? And they are like the headquarters of cheap resources, right? You just heard about the president of Cameroon who has been elected for like the umpteenth time, and it's more like a rigged election. The man is so old, he hardly even knew an election took place, right? So there is turmoil in Cameroon. France is also boiling because Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have kicked them out. That's like the northern border of the real land of Israel. They kicked them out, and they've blocked the Nord Stream 1 that goes into Germany from Russia because they're trying to punish Russia. You see, so France and most of Europe are beginning to get low on energy, right? Because they got kicked out of France, out of the Sahel rather, and then Russia also, they're having issues with Russia. So of course, apparently what Macron has done is to just go and hire what's the name, America, right, to invade. And they said, well, Ibrahim Traore is a dictator, what's it called, dictator, and they want to invade him and all of that, you see. So that when they invade, then they can get access back. But of course, thank God for information. That's why one of the most important weapons we've got now is just information.
Yeah.
They're trying to fight that because many of the people who've got these unaliving weapons with them, if they know what you and I know, they probably will drop that, you see. Or if anything at all, they turn it back and begin to unalive those who have sent them to battles that are not necessary. So it's very important what we have.
And just to add to what you said, I recently saw some information from the Talmud.
Okay.
Yeah, and stuff about what they think about Jesus and everything. And I was wondering, oh wow, if this is what they really think about Jesus, why are Christians supporting them?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen some of those things from Talmud about.
It's funny. They think they have very terrible opinions about Jesus Christ, and it's just ignorance, just sheer ignorance for Christians to be supported. And you hear African pastors, unfortunately, praying for them. Oh, let's pray for Israel, not knowing they are the actual Israel, and their identity has been swapped. So it's such a terrible situation. The information is important.
So can you tell me a bit more about your research, if you've done any new research lately?
Oh yes. So by discussing the new things, we can just start from the existing information, then we move on to the new one. So like I said, our research is based into about 4 areas so far. We're moving on to the stage 5 and other things. But like we discussed before, it talks about languages, right?
We talked about
people and cultures, talking about circumcision and things like that. Then lands and locations. And we talked about timeline. How times have been changed.
That's why you showed me the millennial reign, the short reign.
Yes. So the 5th stage we might be moving into gradually, maybe not today, is areas regarding doctrine.
Okay.
Especially the Christian doctrine. It's only interesting how the term doctrine is almost synonymous to Christianity, as it were, you see. So, but then that's not what we're talking about today. So let me just show you a few updates we've got.
Okay.
Because the doctrine area of things is very, very crowded, very muddy right now. The waters have been muddy, so it's a very noisy place.
I think we'll still like to hear a bit about it if you've got time.
We have shown like 26 words there about that is same between the Yoruba, which is an African language,
and Hebrew. Yes, you showed us.
Bereshit, Elohim, Bara, Shamayim, Et, Eret. So that's 6 words in the Hebrew for Genesis 1:1. And it means in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And that Bereshit is the same as Nibera in Yoruba. Yes. Elohim is plural for Eloha. Yoruba says Olua, right? Shamayim is Shama is a singular for heaven, and Yoruba says summer or our summer. Right, then there is Et, which is and, Yoruba says Ati, you see, and there's Eret, which is earth, and Yoruba says Ere, which is the wetland. So we found like 27 words like that. And there's something also called vowelization of the Paleo Hebrew, because Paleo Hebrew is written more.
Yeah, check this out right here, man. This right here. I'm gonna kind of jump around in a minute, but check this out. This is you familiar with Yoruba? Y'all familiar with who the Yoruba people is? Okay.
Yeah, Shalom. You said that the Yoruba people. I've heard of them in like the Nigeria area.
Right, the area they Israelites.
Right.
But,
yes, sir.
You know, I've been dealing with these different dudes. You know, these so-called they want to be scholars, and they always talk about the let me see them people, the Maseratis, and then they always talking about they dealing with the Hebrew language and all that. Okay, so we want to check out what the Most High, what the Lord of Hosts is doing right now, right? Like especially in my case was I don't know none of that, but he didn't uncover a whole bunch of information and from dealing with without even knowing the Hebrew language. But check this out. He finna start getting you some. When you go back to they always talking about the Paleo Hebrew. But just check it out, man. How you gonna give
in
some
consonants?
For
example, Adam, for example, they write as D and the M, right, from right to left.
You actually gonna have to watch the video. But I'm gonna check it.
So that's how to write Adam. So you've got to put some vowels around it to make it pronounceable, so to speak. So by vowelization, we have a lot more than 27 words, which we did before in the Yoruba, for example.
That vowelization, is that how people have the name Yahweh and they put Y-H-W?
Yes, Yahweh, and yes, perfect. Exactly like that. So, but then one thing that helps you know, like we said before, that African languages are closer to the real Paleo Hebrew, right?
So these African languages is more closer to the Paleo Hebrew than what they talk about. This is what I was saying about how the Lord of Hosts knows just how to do you. See? So check it out.
Abraham spoke, and all those ancestors spoke more than even the modern Hebrew, is because the language that holds the etymology of words tells you the language that is actually more rooted in the concept. You know what etymology is, yeah?
Can you explain that?
Yes. Etymology is the root meaning of words, right? It tells you the root meaning. For example, cardiology, for example, is just an example. Cardiology, the etymology of that word, that's the breaking it down, is cardia and the logi, or the logos. Cardia is the Greek word for heart, and the logos just means the study of something. So biology, so that's what etymology is, breaking words down. So, for example, we are able to find the etymology of many Hebrew words in the Yoruba, in African languages. For example, if you ask a modern Hebrew person, people from the It's Not Real land, that was the meaning of Adam, you just say, well, that's the first man, right? But when we take the D and the M, which is what is written in the Paleo, and we vowelize it in the Yoruba language, you have something like Edamo, right? So you can see it on the screen here.
Check it out.
Yeah, so this is how Paleo is usually written. See the green ones, right? Let me zoom it in a little bit.
Enoch.
So Enoch is actually Kanok, okay? So what you see in Hebrew is K-N-K.
So you only pronounce the ones in green, is it?
Yes, that's the one that's written here, but you then get to vowelize it to make it pronounceable.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Adam, for example, right?
D and M, which you just mentioned.
So when you vowelize it in Yoruba, you have Eda Amo, right? Which means creature of clay. You see?
Oh, and that is such a deep meaning.
Exactly.
Adam, creature of clay, because you're made from clay.
Exactly. Enoch means to teach, right? You have Kanok. That's how you read in Hebrew, right? Yeah, but in Yoruba, if you vowelize it, you have a konye, which Enoch means to teach, you see. And you have a konyeko, which means the teaching of lessons, you see.
Wow.
So Abraham also, which almost brings us to, we're going to discuss the movie later. But then Abraham, it says exalted father or a princely father, right? And Abraham is father of many nations, you see. Right, so Abraham is there. So the etymology within the Yoruba, you can have Abba, which means father or Baba, right? And Aremo means a princely person. So Abba Aremo means exalted father, right? A princely father. So Abraham also Abai Uriaimo. Well, it just breaks it down. This is the father. This is the he means this, right? So the father of countless heads.
And then the Bible says, the father of many nations. Exactly. Wow. So this is the Yoruba meaning.
Yeah.
And that's almost like, that's the same as the Bible one.
Exactly.
Wow.
You see, so that's that about vowelization anyway. But I wanted to show you a quick one, just important, interesting fact, because if the Nigerian people, because to be fair and to kind of put responsibility on us as Africans, we're not doing perfectly fine when the Europeans came, right? We're not doing so well. Because if we had been listening to each other properly, we'll know that our languages are connected. You see, for example, look at this. We've put a compendium of just a compilation of English and Yoruba and Igbo words that are same. So just run through it real quick. So one is to know in English, in Yoruba, in Igbo rather, you say Yoruba rather, you say more, right? In Igbo, you say Mara. Yeah. Person is Enio. You say Onye in Igbo, you say Enos in Hebrew. So that one goes straight all the way.
Sounding a different, a bit similar. More, Mara,
yeah. So inside you say Nino, and in Igbo you say Nime. Yeah. So here you say Amamino. So war is Ogun, there Oko. Me is Emi. In Igbo is more, which is exactly what the French calls it, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is two a more.
I never, I never thought that before. This is the first time I'm
what? You placed it down.
Okay.
Right? You didn't download it from Amazon or
something. Have any internet.
So he had just a book about it, things like that. So when they attack communities, of course, they go for the kings, the princes, the scribes, right? Because the idea is to destroy the people's history, destroy. So when the scribes are attacked like that, the books are taken away, especially during the Assyrian captivity, when they took the northern kingdom, right, which will be present days, which is Samaria.
You see, so they're attacking the scribes and the priests. Right there. That's Isaiah 53 right there. When they come into this place, they're attacking the scribes and the priests. Come on, check it out.
Confusion there, because I'm wondering, okay, are you saying basically that Hebrew is our language?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But if Hebrew is our language, how come, like he said the Bible is written in Hebrew, right?
Yes.
You've got the Hebrew Bible or the Jewish Bible, CJB. How come we're not the ones that produce that if that is our language?
No, it's a lot of years between then and now, right? And when the things that are in the Bible were supposed to just be for scribes, because writing and the knowledge of the law and history of mankind and how you built your temple, those kind of things are usually kept in a kind of place. It's not something you see everywhere. In fact, Jesus himself had to go to the temple and handed over to him the book of Isaiah. And after reading it, he did what? He placed it down. Right? He didn't download it from Amazon or something.
Have any internet.
So he had just the book of Isaiah, things like that. So when they attack communities, of course, they go for the kings, the princes, the scribes, right? Because the idea is to destroy the people's history, destroy. So when the scribes are attacked like that, the books are taken away, especially during the Assyrian captivity, when they took the northern kingdom, right, which will be present days, which is Samaria, okay? When they took that northern kingdom away, a lot of the books and the writings must have been taken away, a lot of the scribes must have been taken away. So Ethiopia seems to be the only country that were also not colonized, you see. So they still have those books.
They have their own Bible.
They have the Enoch, the Joshua, the Jubilees. So things like that. And also is within present day Sudan, I would say, that that language was scattered, which is China, right? Which we showed you the last time. That's just about it. So languages were also scattered. Some of the languages will be different from each other slightly. But when you listen to them as a whole together, then you discover that no, this has got to be it. And also etymology, like I said, if there are two languages, you're not sure which one is older and they're similar, just check the concepts that they're describing, the words that they have in common, and check which one of them can describe to you the etymology of those words.
So the meaning of the word, same way you did with the Abraham word.
Yes. So that must be the language which is a deeper rooted one compared to the modern Hebrew in this case.
Okay, so if you're saying that we originally spoke the proper Hebrew language, which the Bible is written in.
Yes.
Mike Campbell here, Patriot.
We don't have any memory of it.
Yes. Oh, yes. That beautifully leads us to the next part that I was going to discuss.
Okay.
Because the question is, okay, we are the Hebrew people, but our parents should have told us this, which many people say their parents told them, right? Yeah. No, there are. Yeah.
Who says that?
Yeah, there are people that they're like, because we do our TikTok live 10 o'clock every day, UK time. We've been doing that for many months now. I mean, it's such a wonderful time, and it's a lot of sacrifice, but God helps us with that. So there are testimonies after testimony. Lord, we tell them that, yeah, grandma told them this, right? That don't let anybody just confuse you. We are the real Hebrews. Their parents tell them that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have that almost. It's also demonize your history,
African history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is why a Yoruba person or even an African person would see maybe a Nigerian church that maybe wears a kind of garment in their church, and they have incense and stuff. They're like, oh, that's demonic, don't go to that church. But you watch the Pope do exactly the same thing.
Yes.
He's got a garment, he's got
the candle moving around.
And you say, oh, that's holy.
And they even keep the dead bodies and all that, which seems more demonic.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but because it's a white man doing it, you're like, it's Holy Roman Catholic, everybody's comfortable with that. You see? So they didn't know that they're gonna find like people like you and I that will be Christians that would at the same time be very deep and very, so
yeah, let me get this right here.
Even those that have access to the book of Joshua and they'll be like, don't read those books, they would run you mad.
Like I said, you have to come watch, you have to watch it. I'm gonna give you the next time title of it in a minute, but right here, they got a movie out too, right here. But I think he said it's not in the movie theaters yet. Check it out.
Regular Christian, most times you wouldn't like your own culture because they've demonized it, right? In fact, I've even heard somebody say that Eledumare, which is like Osaloboa, for example, which is like Chineke, something like that. Someone said that's the name of an idol. I'm like, really? Eledumare means Olodumare. That's the person that has Odu. Odu means secret or something big or grand. Tomoare, that knows eternity. But someone that holds secrets and knows eternity, that's the Most High God.
Yeah, that's a really big name for God.
Very deep stuff. So, and people have gone as far to say that's the name of an idol, and that's not true, you see. So we know Christianity, right? And we know Yoruba history and African history. At the same time, we have access to this
because of the internet and all the information out
the internet,
which many people did not have back then.
Yeah. And even those that have access to the book of Joshua and they'll be like, don't read those books, they would run you mad. But the same people who watch, I mean, it's supposed to be Halloween kind of stuff. Most people watch scary movies.
Yes, they watch horror movies,
watch Harry
movies.
Potter's, Harry Potter story and all that. So that's literally witchcraft.
They'll listen to Beyonce.
It's not even touched now. So, like I said, and you're right, most of what is called entertainment today is just sexual immorality, violence, and death, and then witchcraft.
Yeah.
That's it. And they just call it Hollywood. So we discovered that, but then people can make their decisions. We just released the video about a week ago or so, and it's been very controversial. And some people are like, wow, exactly, I thought so, stuff like that.
This is the Abramo movie,
Yeah, so it's AbramoMovie.com. That's what we call it.
Movie right here. It's called Abramo, the hit patriarch of Acubalon. I don't think it's out yet. But check this out. This is where the meat at right here. Here we go.
Right. One of them is this Dirk Lange, right? It's called Dirk Lange is the writer. He's not even African.
Okay.
So the title is The Ancient Kingdoms of West Africa. I mean, he tries to connect the Hausa to the Hausa myths, right? I think we got it here. So try to connect it and try to say this. There is this Bayajida, right? Just like you have maybe Ududua or me or stuff like that. So there's this Bayajida in the Hausa kind of cosmology, right, or mythology, and it tries to compare that to a kind of patriarch like Abraham. And there's Magajia like a Sarah, and there is a Bagwaria, which is like Hagar.
So let me just break down a little bit of this, because like I said, you don't have to watch it. Then we come back talk about it. But what's going on is you got this book called The History of the Yorubas, right? It's like he was saying, just like Ethiopia got their own Bible, these Yorubas got their own Bible. They got their own history of how the history go back. But the crazy part about it, man, is this book they got, the history of the Yorubas, is word for word for the book of Joshua. So, like I said, to save some time, we got everybody who's interested, we have to watch it first. Watch this video and then what he say, then we'll come back and talk about it. But I'm just gonna chop it up, just get a little more of it. Right.
So the guy is making those links, but according to him, none of them so far, right, have been bold enough to be like, no, it's like these are the real people. So what they have said is that it has Middle Eastern influence, you see. So that's as far as most people have gone. But we are telling you that it's not that they've got Middle Eastern influence. They are the real people. And all that has happened is that they were taken away and they came back to the same land that they've been all this while. So, and in fact, look at this. And I'll still show you more things, but I can quickly show you this one. So he says, once again, these things are just oral history, so there'll be a lot of mix-up, right? So he said, going one step further, we may even identify another reflection of the Abraham story, which, with the familiar inversion. So there's been a swap among the Yorubas of Ife, right? Here are two women said to have been the wives of Oludua, right? The rich Olokun, right? And had no children. So he's saying that's the one that sounds like Sarah. And he said there is the poor or Sarah, right? Who is the blessed with many children. So they swapped, and he's saying that this one that has no children should have been your Sarah, which is the Sarah person. You see. So according to him, and he's speaking of Udua, right? And this is not even the main text we are going into. So go to the main one. But he's saying that this Sarah is sounding like, well, maybe these people have been influenced by Middle East. So they are beginning to modify their own stuff to sound like, and they did that swap. But no, it is actually the person. So, but anyway, it's just to show you that there's one like that. But this is the.
And then he mentioned that, which I thought was intriguing, was Abraham is 20th from Adam. Okay, ain't that something?
What we're doing, right? We are comparing this book, right? This
the history of Yoruba.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, from the earliest times to the beginning of the British protect.
The history of the Yoruba and the book of Jasher is word for word, man. It's crazy, bro.
And we're comparing that to the book of Joshua. Yeah. So one thing to just keep in mind is that this is documented oral history, right? And this is, as far as we know, these are documented events that were documented as they happen. So they're likely to be more precise.
Just about the oral history thing, just because some people might look down on it saying it's documented oral history, but even the Bible is documented oral history.
It is.
The documented oral stories are taken and written down. Yeah, just in case some people are saying, oh, this is not.
Yeah. Of which that's the same reason why we're here in the first place, where people just, push down their own history because it's oral and all that.
Yes.
And it's important. People don't keep saying the same things for centuries if they're not sure.
If it's right.
So there you go. We've got that. All right. So by the way, the main places to check is page 3 to 4 of this book and chapters 11 to 12 of Joshua.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's this person Lamorudu, right, which apparently is Nimrod. That's literally in page 6 here. Okay, of this book.
Can you just remind us again who Nimrod is again?
Nimrod, well, we'll just show you the table of nations. Where is he? By the way, these things are, let me just use this updated phone. So these things are in the movie. It's easy to see it. It's called Primal movie, but this is Nimrod here. Okay. So so he's the son of Cush. Cush is the son of Ham. Ham is the son of Noah.
Okay.
You see, yes, but this is Abraham. Abraham is the 20th from Adam rather.
Okay.
And we are saying this Abraham is very likely Oduduwa, and we'll show you the reasons. Okay. Yeah. So this Terah was one of the hosts, the chief host, the lord of the host of Nimrod, right? So even though Nimrod is like 13th equivalent, he and Abraham were still contemporaries. They still saw each other. In fact, Nimrod threw Abraham into the fire, according to the book of Joshua. Just like what's the name of this other king?
Check this out.
You said Abraham died by fire.
No, he did not die by fire.
Well, you just said he threw him in the fire.
Well, he escaped the fire.
You don't even know.
And just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's in the
Check
book
this out, man. This is crazy.
I've never heard the story before.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm telling you that for you to know these things, you have to have access to Yoruba history, the depths of it, and have access to the book of Joshua also.
And read it.
It helps me to begin to see of which Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego must have known the story in the book of Joshua. And that must have been what gave them that
confidence.
Faith.
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I just, I never, because I just thought, where did they get all this?
All this confidence from
to go into fire.
And I tell people that if you check that scripture properly, what they told, what's the name of that king? The wicked king.
No.
I think it is.
No, Nebuchadnezzar comes to my mind.
No, I think it is. It's Nebuchadnezzar, actually. Right? I think what they told him, most people think they said, well, if you throw us into the fire,
God will save us. And if he doesn't save us,
that's not what they said.
But that's what the Bible says.
That's not what
you want to change the word of the
I know.
Okay,
if you read it well, what it says is that if you decide to throw us on the fire, we will not bow. But, and that's why Nebuchadnezzar was very angry. But if you choose not to throw us on the fire, we still will not bow. Do you see? So the guy was so angry, like, seriously, I've not even offered you mercy. You're already telling me even if you offer me mercy, will not bow.
And that's why he then said, increase the heat of the fire.
Yeah, and then those who threw them in fire died from the heat and things like that. Very similar to what happened to Nimrod and Abraham. So scripture, history, prophecy tends to be very cyclical. You see.
So basically, what he's saying is that a similar story of the fiery furnace had already happened in the book of Joshua with Abraham, and that's what maybe gave confidence to Shadrach, Meshach, and
Abednego.
Wow.
Yeah. So the book of Joshua is very, very interesting. Very interesting. And one thing we do in our TikTok live, 10 o'clock every day, UK time, we read at least one chapter of Enoch, Joshua.
Yeah, they got a TikTok every 10 o'clock, Great Britain time.
Jubilees. We have done all of that already, and we started again from Enoch. We're in Jubilees currently, going to Joshua again. Wow. So this Nimrod, there is this Nimrod in Yoruba history, and it's called Lamurudu or Namurudu. You see. So what I'm going to do, so
funny enough, that M and D are still there.
Yes, exactly. Talking about the vowelization.
Noticing it.
Yes, the vowelization of Paleo-Hebrew. Yeah. So rather than going through this history back and forth, what we'll just do is to condense it for us and pick out so that people can go read those two books when they're ready. So page 6 is where it mentions that Lamurudu and Namurudu, that's the same thing. So there is this person, he said that Oduduwa, he said, zoom it in. Yeah, so he said in the name Lamurudu or Namurudu, we can easily recognize the dialectic modification of the name Nimrod. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, so what we're doing, we'll just pick from this and to give us some speed as we go ahead. So there's this Lamurudu in this book, right, on Yoruba history. We know of Nimrod in the book of Joshua, even in the Bible, Genesis. So he mentions Oduduwa here, but there seems not to be an equivalent of Oduduwa, of course, within the book of Joshua. But keep in mind, this is oral history on this left. So there's this character that is called Brahma. We are saying this is Abraham, right? But that's not just the name. We didn't just see this and make that conclusion, right? Look at number 4. There's a person called Asara, who is the father of Brahma, right? And the father of Abraham is Terah. This is Asara. You see? Let's keep going. Oduduwa is supposed to be the crown prince of Nimrod, which doesn't always mean a son, by the way. It just means he's part of his warlord or something like that, crown prince. And this Terah in scriptures, right, was the prince of the host of Nimrod. So it's still kind of shady. Is this Oduduwa? Is it Terah or is it Abraham? We can keep reading. Brahma, right, is this guy called Brahma who acts down his father's idols. Now, Simon Johnson was bold enough to say that is this Gideon? You remember Gideon destroyed his father? It's not a very popular story, but he destroyed his father's idols and he wanted to kill his child and say, well, if the gods are really alive, let the gods kill his child, right? You know, that's why they call him Baal Perazim, right? If I got that right. So that let the gods defend themselves, right? Let them break out on his son, right? Rather than the people unalive on killing his son, right? But that's Gideon. But that's
okay. So like I said, the name of this movie, name of this video is They Didn't Know Africans Would Find This Out. Okay, and the dude, the name is Kunle. Is his first name. Then his last name is Averemi. So you want to check that out. I think it's 4 parts to that. And then, like I said, this is part 4. You want to check it out. Then we come back and chop it up. But you gotta watch. You gotta check it out, man. Get you some popcorn and then check it out. Then we'll break it down. So this book, The History of the Yoruba, I went to eBay. It's they had the used one for $75, but the new one was $135. But it's in the same story that's in Jasher. Jasher is in this book right here. Just like with if you've been hanging around here, you'll know that what Josephus did. The history of the Jews that Josephus wrote is the same thing in the New Testament. A lot of the things in the New Testament is coming from what Josephus wrote about the history of the Jews. So yeah, it's crazy, man. But anybody got any comments on that? Like I said, probably we have to go watch it. Probably have to watch it first. Sit down and watch it. Maybe take you a couple of days. It's I think 2 hours. Yeah, hour and 53 minutes. Somebody want to pick a scripture and then we'll read it and break it down.
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I do have a scripture, but I wanted to say too that just what I seen in what you played in the video all makes sense though, especially when he got actually breaking down the language and the dialect.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right. Oh yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I said, it's we at that time that this kind of stuff gonna start coming out because he wrapping it up. Yeah, he wrapping it up, bro. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it all made a lot of sense.
Oh yeah,
because we already knew who those people in the Sahel region already were. So when him bringing out that knowledge made perfect sense.
right. And then I was trying to find it, but I'm gotta go back and find it, and hopefully, when you watch it, you won't catch it. But he went to this. He broke down. This conversation came up that about Albert Pike and how Albert Pike had prophesied about the 3 world wars.
Yes, sir.
But it had some information in there that they didn't have in the book of Morals and Dogma. And guess what? It's exactly what's happening in Civil War, man.
Wow.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah. About the news reporters and all that. You're gonna wait till you check it out, bro. But yeah. You got that scripture?
Right, yes, sir. I was gonna read Brother Leonard Zephaniah 3 and just verses 8, 9, and 10.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And it says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. And shalom. That was Zephaniah chapter 3, verses 8, 9, and 10.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and that's what I see. That's what you see. A lot of people you deal with, they want to go to this Yiddish language and all that, talking about the Maseratis and all that. When the Creator told us that He took the language away, and in the last days He's gonna bring it back. He ain't brought it back yet. Okay.
Sure.
So with that being said, nobody else have anything else? You got anything else they want to add to the class before we go? Okay, so with that being said, I want to say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. See everybody tomorrow for our reading through the Tanakh. It's from 7 to 9 Central Time. I'll see y'all then. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.